Hello to all my sports card collector, investor, all my collectibles friends. It's Friday, guys. I'm a little late today. I know I'm late. If you are new here, I'm excited to be talking to you about some more collectible stuff, sports cards today. 5 sports cards that I'm going to be talking about that I'm paying attention to. But if you are new here, why not subscribe? We've got over 500 videos on the channel now. We're closing in on 1 million subscribers. Okay, maybe not 1 million, maybe more like 10,100, but still, we're on an upward trajectory, and we want you here with us. So thanks very much for joining. For sports cards, I use both the Card Ladder and Market Movers data tools to help me track sales, to also help me track pricing, and to track my collection. Both tools offer a lot of value to me. So if you want to try it out, if you want to check it out, I do have my affiliate links in the video description. You get 20% off your first month of Market Movers, and then you also get a 7-day free trial with Card Ladder if you try those out. I appreciate your support. One thing I like too is that there are cards that are in Card Ladder that are not in Market Movers, and there's cards in Market Movers that are not in Card Ladder. So having both of those for me, it helps tremendously. I get a lot of requests to talk a little bit more about hockey cards. So I'm going to start with a couple of hockey cards. The first one is one that I have been paying close attention to, that I have not pulled the trigger on. It just hasn't hit the price point yet that I've really been wanting it at. But it's an 85 Topps Mario Lemieux rookie and a PSA 8. This is the lesser scarce than the O-Pee-Chee version. So 85 Topps and then 85 O-Pee-Chee are really the kind of the chase cards for that Mario Lemieux rookie. I've been looking at a PSA 8, but also been looking in PSA 7s, BGS as well, just seeing if I can find some value. And what I've noticed, and I'm looking at the Market Movers tool, one thing that I am going to start doing a lot, frankly, with this particular tool is setting price alerts. And this is where essentially you can track them. You can chart the cards, but then also set price alerts to where if it goes under a certain price point, it kind of alerts you to, that it's hit that, and then it gives you, prompts you to be able to go in and pull the trigger on some things. The same thing happens if you might be looking to sell. Maybe you have a card that you're like, hey, if this gets to $1,000, I'm going to sell that card. You can also set price alerts also that go above a certain amount. So it can be very handy when trying to figure out when to buy and sell when you're looking at cards. So out of the 3 options I was looking at, PSA 8, PSA 7, and then BGS 8.5s is what I was looking at. It looks to me like the PSA 7 has been the one that's kind of stayed the most stagnant, and that's one that I'm going to really kind of zero in on. And right now it's sitting at about $300 to $350, and it's been consistently there for a while. But I'm going to, again, set a price alert, set a price target. If it goes sub 275, is where I'm going to be looking in case that thing does kind of come down, because you never know. Look, we know in sports cards go up and down, sometimes without any real reasoning behind it. And so this is great. So I'm going to look at, that's the one I'm zeroing in on, Mario Lemieux rookie and a PSA 7. I just love the look of that 85 Topps cards. I'm big on 80s cards anyway. I'm big on 80s football, 80s basketball, and this is one that I want. Between Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, those were the guys. I mean, these are what, top 3 hockey players of all time. Bobby Orr is in there. I'm still kind of learning about the hockey stuff. My go-to for hockey information is Jeremy Lee at Sportcards Live. If you haven't checked out his channel yet, some amazing interviews and 30 plus years in the hobby. So Jeremy is my go-to for this stuff. All right, next up, we're going to stay on hockey, and I promise we're going to get into some other things, but I want to talk about the 2005 Sidney Crosby rookie cards. There's a couple of different ones I was looking at. So Fleer Ultra Base in a BGS 9.5, and then also looking at the 2005 Upper Deck Young Guns in a PSA 9, as well as the 05 Young Guns in a BGS 9.5. One thing that was interesting, and again, with BGS, it can be kind of variable because it all depends on the subgrades. Subgrades make a huge difference with BGS 9.5s, and the charts don't necessarily tell you that. They're not able to break that down for you. But one thing I did notice, which was really interesting with Sidney Crosby's PSA 9 versus his BGS 9.5, there was actually an instance where the BGS 9.5 was less than the The BGS 9.5 was less than the PSA 9, just happened recently. And that's where these data tools can be very helpful, especially when we're in kind of this world where grading, PSA is shut down. Grading is kind of we're in a tricky spot with grading. So I like to be able to look at differences between BGS, different grades, PSA, maybe even SGC in certain instances. And a lot of these tools allow you to kind of, mix and match and see what's what and compare these sales without having to, go through and look at them each on eBay and track it that way. It just saves time. And so that was one where, Sidney Crosby, he's a big player. He's a big player. And that's one. Those are two kind of hockey cards that I've been targeting, and just trying to figure out the grades and where I want to get in at, which price points. And so those are very, very intriguing ones. If you guys have been watching the channel, I've been buying a lot of Tom Brady cards. Some people have pushed back that I should be putting more money into the rookie cards as opposed to some of the inserts, some of the colored stuff, some of the numbered stuff, and that's perfectly fair. And what I did here on with this particular graph is, looking at a variety of different rookie cards of his and a PSA 9, and the price points of those to be able to keep tabs on where pricing is. And again, there's those price targets that you can set, those price alerts that give me the ability to say, all right, I really like the Crown Royale, or I want to get a Pacific, or maybe even a metal. And a lot of these cards are rare. They don't pop up all the time on eBay. And so this can be an alert to say like, hey, okay, it's time. It's coming into it's hitting your price point. And that's where I want to be able to strike is, we always talk about everyone's trying to buy low and sell high, or buy low at least and hold forever. For me and Tom Brady, I want to buy low and hold, or as low as I possibly can. And so if there is an instance where even just a week, 2 weeks, because we all know how this can go, you can have literally where everything is pretty hot, and then you have a 1 week or 2 week window where prices sink down for just that period of time, and then they come back, then they come kind of roaring back. So I want to be able to time those up right. And so this gives me the ability to look at a bunch of different rookie cards that are outside of kind of the Bowman and the Bowman Chrome, which are a little bit outside of my price point at this point, because I want to get some high grade stuff. And I'm also considering getting some lower grade Bowman Tom Brady rookie cards as well, maybe just the Bowman paper. But this gives me the ability to just track all of it. PSA 9s, if I want to look at PSA 8s, can do that as well. So I can really kind of stack those Tom Brady rookie cards the way that I want to. So much talk about what to do with basketball cards these days. And honestly, it's a conundrum. It's a conundrum if I can use that. What the heck are we doing with basketball cards right now? It's tough because, which players are we buying leading up for the playoffs, where we're going to flip for the playoffs? And then which ones are we just going to hold off on buying, wait for that season to kind of end, and maybe buy in the playoffs where teams have been knocked out, or, it's the end of the season and it's time to, they're going into that off season and everything cools off. It's really kind of a tricky time. And one player that I've been paying attention to that hasn't really gotten a whole lot of hobby love, but his team is the number 1 seed in the West, and it's Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell has a lot of low pops on his stuff. He's a 2017 rookie. There is kind of some speculation as how much of his stuff is still sitting at PSA. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because he plays for the Utah Jazz or what, but he does not get hobby love compared to some of the other players. And you can look quickly at track a lot of these, these prices, the PSA 10 hoops. I was just looking at a bunch of PSA 10 stuff. PSA 10 hoops rookie, 125 to 150. PSA 10 mosaic, 350 to 400. The optic in a PSA 10 base, 220. Optic base revolution, $200. The one that I'm really looking at, and it's popular these days, Select has been a hot set, but for some of these guys, these select rookie cards are really at a nice price point. If it's a guy that you're targeting, if it's someone that you're targeting, and I'm kind of wondering, I'm sitting here wondering what to do with Donovan Mitchell. If I should kind of go in heavy a little bit, maybe over the next week or so, and then look to sell off during the playoffs. Should I do that, or should I wait? See if they get knocked out of the playoffs and then go in on Donovan Mitchell, because I think that. I have a belief that Mitchell and I think he's a good young player. He might not always stay in Utah. He might go to the Lakers one day or something. But if I'm thinking about a post LeBron NBA, I think of Donovan Mitchell as being a guy he's a good player. He's proven that the Jazz are a good team. What if they win the championship this year? You never know. You never know. I've heard so many people say that the Jazz are going to get whipped come playoff time. And look, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. They haven't proven it yet, so we just don't know. But all the signs kind of point to the Jazz making some noise in the playoffs. The Lakers are banged up. You know, a lot of these teams are banged up. Unless some Luka magic happens. Anyone catch that game winner from Luka the other day? The flop 3-point shot that went in, that looked like something that I tried to do that just kind of like soars over the backboard. That dude is incredible. Absolutely incredible. So anyway, Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is one that I want to hear from you all. Have you been buying Donovan Mitchell? Are you passing on him? Or are you just kind of like, I don't really want to buy. It's the Utah Jazz. I want to hear your thoughts on Donovan Mitchell because his price points are very, very interesting. A lot of people have been asking me how I feel about Jamal Murray because they know that I've been buying. I bought it in Jamal Murray. He was one of the spec guys. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL. And honestly, my answer to that is I'm looking to buy more Jamal Murray. And people are probably going to be like, oh my gosh, he's injured. Why are you buying an injured player? I just like what I've seen from him. I think that he'll come back from the injury. I think that he's a young guy. It's an ACL. It's not an Achilles, which an Achilles, if it was an Achilles injury for a basketball player, I probably wouldn't buy anymore. But ACLs, it just happens in sports. They know how to rehab them well. I think he's going to come back and be a good player. So I'm watching closely. I'm not going out today and buying a bunch of Jamal Murray, but I will be setting the price alerts for certain cards. And we talk about courtside select being one of them. I do have a courtside select rookie of his in a PSA 9 currently. I really wanted a 10. I've been close to getting a 10 of that card. And if his prices sank on those courtside select 10s, I'm going to be in the market. I'll be in the market for it. So Jamal Murray for me is, again, we're talking about buying on that low end, selling on the high end. Jamal Murray stuff is going to be kind of forgotten for a little bit. He's not playing. His team is kind of, there's not a lot of belief that the Joker is going to be able to carry them all the way to, a championship or to the finals without him. We'll see, though. The Nuggets are a good young team. We'll see what happens when playoff time comes. But, if the Nuggets get bounced, second round, third round, whatever, I'm going to be watching that stuff. Frankly, I'll be looking at the Joker stuff too. He might win MVP, but, if they get knocked out of the playoffs, he's a guy with, big men just don't get a lot of hobby love, but he's just such an interesting player. He's not spectacular in the way that he plays, but he's just fundamentally sound. He makes some big shots. He makes a lot of tough to make shots, especially for a guy his size. So there's a lot of fun specs out there right now. Guys, let me know what you think. What do you think? And if you haven't tried Market Movers yet, I do have that affiliate link down there. Give it a shot to support the channel, but also get some value out of it too. I really think that if you're buying cards, if you're buying selling cards, there's value to be had there, as well as the card ladder tool as well. Guys, thank you very much for joining. We'll end on a positive note. Keep on trucking. Keep on going. We've made it to the weekend. Have some relaxed time. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy your family. Stay healthy. Stay well. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care.